Good morning, my neighbour!
What is up, you sexy mother hubbards? Keir Starmer is miraculously getting positive coverage in The Sun. Meanwhile, Western economies are destined for decline because as the baby boomer generation die out, new stock is failing to materialise. It's time for an alternative paper review. First up to the Mail, who may as well have done a screen grab of flag emoji Twitter and used that for their front page. This is a story that Nike have produced the New England kit, but they've sort of adjusted the cross on the back of the neck so it looks more inclusive. It's more diverse. It's got a little pink bit to it. And obviously this is very upsetting for the thinking man's thinking man, Joey Barton, who sees it as woke ideology soiling the integrity of the game. Integrity presumably not soiled by Barton's myriad arrests for violent assaults. Must be a really weird experience being Joey Barton, you know? To think that it's no big deal if somebody gets headbutted and loses their two front teeth, or, you know, a lot of players in a room all getting liquored up and setting each other on fire. Like, this stuff has happened. And all of that is like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's just lads, isn't it? But yeah, a bit of purple fabric. Oh, no, that is just nut on. And of course, the baton of Bellandry was promptly passed to The Sun, where Keir Starmer joined calls for Nike to reassess. Like, it's difficult to know what's going on here, really, with The Sun, Murdoch, and Keir Starmer and Labour. Like, did The Sun sense that the Tories are just toast now, and so they're trying to get behind Labour so it looks like it was The Sun what won it? Or is this the Murdochs and Harry Cole actually doing a bit of a chess move? You know, like, if we invite him to spend the day at Sun HQ, we could ask him a load of questions, we could edit the responses, we could misrepresent him in a way that makes him look like he's down with the Joey Bartons and the flag emoji Twitter, you know? And that might actually do some damage to Labour's polling. I mean, for what it's worth, this whole story to me is ridiculous. It's a perfect example of the culture war populist right's obsession with symbolism over substance. This is a story, or a mini campaign if you like, that is powered by a group of people who can't hope to compete on a political or intellectual level if we're discussing the actual problems that the country faces. Your housing crisis, your NHS, your social care, your cost of living crisis. They have no solutions, empathy, or anything. Like, they just couldn't even enter that conversation. And so in lieu of those solutions, that substance, we get what? We get symbolism, we get this cross, we get poppies. Obsession over the cenotaph or protecting statues of Churchill. You know, it's like, hey, Tice, Anderson, Braverman, what should we do about women's safety? How can we improve the rape conviction rate? They're like, disguise them as statues, you know, and then we'll put 20 bobbies on the beat around each of them. This is unbelievable. I've just tried to do the second part of the paper review. There's this great big wood chipper that's just kicked off. I thought, I'll just walk up this bit and then I'll do a bit more. Now, like, there's never any noise in this park. Now this guy's got... Like, don't these people see I'm trying to be weird on the internet? Anyway, one final observation on this England kit debacle. Like, I do think it's funny that it's the same people, right, that are kicking up right now. Your sort of GB News, Talk TV, populist right types, who in any other scenario would endlessly bang on about freedom of speech, wouldn't they? Freedom of speech for everyone. You should be able to say what you like. It doesn't matter. You know, if Nigel Farage complains that he wants to be able to use the word chinky to describe a Chinese takeaway... If you were like, I don't know if that's, that's a bit problematic. Their response to that would be like, no, it's free speech. Why don't you go cry about it somewhere else? Or if it was that couple that ran the Gollywog pub out in Essex, they would be like, well, it's their business. You don't have to go in there. They can run it however they like. It's the free market. Now, Nike, for reasons best known to themselves, have decided to produce this kit in this way. You don't have to buy it. It's their freedom of expression, if you like. And the same people are like, no, you got to do it. You got to do it the way that I like. Finally, this morning to the FT, who cite the absence of a baby boom and its effect on Western economies. It says baby boom and bust, diverging fertility rates over the next 25 years will drive a global shift that is likely to lead to a baby bust. Yeah. We're shrinking, basically. And it's funny because it might not seem like this is the same story as I started out with, like symbolism, substance, but it kind of is, because the actual crux, like the nuts and bolts of this, are that the housing crisis and the cost of childcare in the UK is making having babies, continuing your generation, growing the population, it's making that almost impossible. Like, having a baby these days it's kind of a luxury item. Because we have a existing government and probably an incoming Labour government who lack the vision to fully socialise childcare or conduct a wartime house building effort, because there's no substance to actually solving these problems, what are we left with? How is the narrative weaved when we talk about these baby shortages in the wider press? Selfish millennials refuse to have children because they're just horrible and selfish. I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it, that people suddenly became selfish at exactly the same time as it became prohibitively expensive to have children. I mean, it's just one of those kooky mysteries, I guess.